I'd like to welcome everyone to this Board of Education's business meeting Thursday, January 16th. I'd like to ask everyone to please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this evening, we have special recognitions to administer. First up is the Puerto Rican Coalition, Mr. Candido Crespo, President. Wanda?
Sure. So tonight, it is my honor. Good evening to everyone before I start. All right, so good evening, everyone at home and here. Tonight, it is really my honor and privilege to recognize two extraordinary contributors to our community. We have first the president of the Puerto Rican Coalition, Mr. Candido Crespo, and also the founder of Promise of Hope Foundation, Michael Vanderbroek, and his board. Their generosity and dedication have brought joy to countless Brentwood students through the collection and distribution of toys during this holiday season. There are some of us, right, or some people, who give to receive something in return. And then there are those who give purely from the heart, expecting nothing in return. Mr. Crespo and Mr. Vanderberg embody the spirit of generosity and compassion, dedicating their time and resources to support our students and families. And while we know for sure that they do not seek the recognition for their efforts, it is important that we honor them tonight. The smiles they brought to our students and the invaluable support they provided to our families are truly priceless. Mr. Crespo, are you here?
Yes.
Can you stand up, please? He's a long-time Brentwood resident. He has dedicated over 17 years of service to the Puerto Rican Coalition, working tirelessly to uplift our community and inspire positive change. His commitment to service and improving lives has made a lasting impact on both the Brentwood community and Suffolk County. We also extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Vanderberg. Are you here? Michael, are you here? Vanderberg, you here? The Promise of Hope, are they here? They didn't come here yet? All right, but we still want to recognize them, whose mission to spread hope and honor the legacy of Detective Jonathan Miller has touched the lives of students across multiple school districts. The recent initiative brought over 20,000 toys, books, and gifts to children, creating a meaningful and memorable holiday season for many. We were very fortunate to be one of those school districts. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Candido and Mr. Michael Vanderberg. I thought I saw him. I don't know where he went. And his board as they are coming towards to accept their certificates for the recognition. Let us express our deepest appreciation for all that you did for our students.
So we have a certificate for you, Candido, which reads, "In sincere appreciation for organizing and hosting a successful toy drive and distribution event for the children of Brentwood. Your kindness brought joy to countless families in our community creating a memorable holiday season." Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, I didn't see, I thought I saw him, but no, I don't see anyone here.
Okay. All right, next up, we have our student liaisons, Farah Al-Zafarani and Samuel Hasfal.
Thank you for having us today. My name is Farah and this is Sam. So we have some exciting news to share with you. One of my classmates in research, her name is Nika Fairweather. She was named one of the semifinalists for Regeneron, which is a national competition for research, and she was one of the 300 winners for semifinalists. This is a very big deal and I'm very proud of her. So we have a round of applause for her, please. The second thing is the Drama Club had a very big field trip this weekend to Callicoon, New York, and they left on Friday, fourth period at school, and they came back Sunday evening around 3 p.m. They did some drama workshops, and they had lots of fun. Then we have Regents Week coming up, so we will be off for that week, and me and Sam are very excited. There's also some Brentwood High School kids that are willing to present some bills to Congress. So Assemblyman Phil Ramos came and visited the Brentwood High School to interview some of these candidates, and he will choose some of them to come and go present these bills in Congress. We wish them all good luck.
Good evening. So STEM inclusive class celebrated the growth and achievements of students in science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Each student received a lab coat and a STEM pin, symbolizing their dedication to learning, problem solving, and teamwork. This coming Monday on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, MBK has a day of service in partnership with legislator Sam Gonzalez and the East Brentwood Fire Department, where they will be giving away clothes to the elderly and essentials such as toothbrushes, toothpaste, mittens, shoes, Uggs, boots, stuff like that. The Brentwood research engineers also have a VEX team where they excelled at the second night of the VRC, which is the VEX robotics competition. And for those of you who don't know, it's a robotics competition. So we have a team at school that specializes in robotics, and they go and compete. They were securing a top 10 ranking, and they are advancing to the finals. And over the winter break, we hosted 2 toy drives, one here at the administration building, and we had the 5th annual Cops and Kids organization, Operation Give Back, which those are amazing events and great for our kids. So thank you guys so much. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Farah and Sam. We appreciate your time and your report, as always, to the community and the Board of Education on a monthly basis. It's always interesting to get feedback and your perspective on what's happening in your school buildings. Okay, so questions on agenda items only. Mr. Bill Moss.
Good evening, my name is Bill Moss. I'm a long-term resident, homeowner in the community, also Brentwood parent, and a former teacher in the Brentwood School District. My question is about the appointments, resignations, and leaves, D1A. D1A.
Okay, just a reminder, Mr. Morse, we have the 3-minute rule in effect.
Sure, I mean, it should be short because there's only 3 people who have questions about the probationary teachers. What was the procedure utilized to recruit and hire those probationary teachers?
The
Got it
district,
on here.
as you know, the district follows policy 9240.
And did the Board of Education get any proof of certification for these teachers? Have you seen the proof of certification?
Candace?
Good evening, Mr. Moss. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. So as President Felix said, the district follows policy 9240, and it has procedures in place not only for these candidates that are listed on tonight's agenda, but for each person that's hired by the district to make sure they have appropriate credentials, certifications, all of that. So while I can't sit here and tell you that I've personally seen everyone's credentials, the district certainly has a process that they use, and they've been good at implementing that process to make sure that people are vetted. So that is what I could tell you about that.
Yes, my question is about the board's responsibility. As I'm sure you know, the Board of Education has a responsibility not to hire, in particular, any uncertified or unqualified teacher. It's quite illegal. In fact, it's a misdemeanor on their behalf. So my question is about their knowledge as to whether or not these individuals are in fact qualified to their personal knowledge, because they personally can be arrested if they are hiring unqualified teachers without knowing that they're qualified. So my question is, have you seen the proof of certification to know who you're voting on this evening, that these individuals are in fact certified to your personal knowledge
Right.
as trustees?
And if it's all right, I'll answer on behalf of the trustees that the trustees are not required to answer questions about every single person they hire or every single action they take. What they are required to do is to know what their legal obligations are to abide by the oath of office. And I can tell you that this board is doing that. So they don't need to be reminded and they don't need to be checked about every action. They're well aware of what their responsibilities are, and they are fulfilling those responsibilities to the letter of the law.
I'm glad to hear that from you, except for the fact that I see some blank faces that say otherwise, and except for the fact that this Board of Education in the past at this same dais has answered the question in the negative, and very proudly so. And so you can say that, you know, to your knowledge, that they're following the letter of the law, but that question is a very valid question, because the last time I asked it to this Board of Education, the answer was, we trust our superintendent, we're not going to look at the certifications of the individual teachers. So that's a very important thing to recognize at this juncture, that you're saying one thing, but the last thing said by the Board of Education was another. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moss. Anyone else from the audience that has questions on the agenda items? Okay, we will proceed. Be it resolved that the following items be approved. B1A through B1M. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Julia Burgos. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Cindy Seferi. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Noes? Abstentions? So moved. Be it resolved that the following items be approved. B2A through B2R. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Julia Burgos. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Maria Malave. All in favor?
Aye.
Noes? Abstentions? So moved. Be it resolved that the following items be approved, C1A and C1B. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Brandon Garcia. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Eileen Harmon. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Noes? Abstentions? So moved. D1A, appointments, resignations, and leaves, certificated personnel. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the certificated personnel action report contained in the board packet for the January 16, 2025 board meeting.
Motion.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Hassan Ahmed. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Julia Burgos. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Noes? Abstentions? So moved. D1B, appointments, resignations, and leaves. Non-certificated personnel. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, The Board of Education hereby approves the non-certificated personnel action report contained in the board packet for the January 16th, 2025 board meeting. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Brandon Garcia. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Cindy Seferi. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. E1A student enrollment figures. As of November 22nd, 2024, we had a total of 17,952 students. As of December 20th, 2024, we had 17,896 students. Elementary, 1,371. These are, I'm sorry, special education enrollment figures. Elementary, 1,371. Middle school, 636. Freshman campus, 201. Senior high school, 616. Attending out-of-district schools, K through 12, 479. Resource room-related services, district residents, 55. Approved preschool programs, 434, and related services preschool programs, 192. F1 through 7 are miscellaneous items for information only, and that contains board action memos of the December 19th, 2024 Board of Education business meeting, principals reports, minutes of the December 19th, 2024 secondary leadership team meeting, minutes of the December 13th, 2024 elementary leadership team meeting. Board of Education informal budget workshop will be held next Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. We have Board of Education informal budget will transpire on February 6th, 2025. And we have our February board meeting transpiring on February 13th, 2025. Want to all the new business?
So good evening again. I have some great news to share with you. First, we want to congratulate our girls basketball team for earning a spot in Section 11. They're going to the playoffs, so we're very happy and congratulations to our girls. We also have some great achievements with the wrestling team here. So congratulations to Jason Quake, who won the 160-pound final at the prestigious Eastern States Classic. He will continue his journey as a future North Carolina State wrestler. Way to go, Jason, if you're watching. Congratulations. Also, at the Anthony Cipriano Memorial Tournament, the wrestling team had a fantastic showing with 11 place winners and 3 champions. We had Kevin Rivath, a 9th grader who won the first career tournament. Then we had Alex Leon, who earned his first tournament victory. And then we have senior captain John De La Rosa, who dominated his matches and received the championships. It's called the Champion of Champions Award. Congratulations to the entire wrestling team. They did a fantastic job. Also, we have the girls and the boys bowling teams are off to a fantastic start this year, showcasing an impressive skills and teamwork. And today we had, is it Josh or John, who had a 299 score? Josh, right? 299 score.
Josh
and I learned, Alvarado?
Josh Durado.
Josh Durado. And I learned that 300 is perfect score. So I'm learning about bowling now, so this is great. Thank you, Jill. Excellent. We have a few more things. Farah and Samuel take my job, so they took my job. So I have only a few things here to say to you now. Saturday Lego Academy is going to start this Saturday. We still have seats open, so please make sure that you register for that. Also, on January 27th, we are going to have our IT Technology Night Expo. It's going to be in the Sunderland Cafeteria, and we will hope that all of you come in to see the great things that we have here for our families and students. Kindergarten registration begins on Monday, January 20th, and goes all the way through March 21st. The students that are enrolled in the CBOs like Shepherd's Gate, Head Start, and Family Service League and MDQ do not have to register again. So only those that are new entrants to the district. And then on January 30th, the freshman campus will host the Winter Wonderland event. This is for students in UPK and grade 2. They're invited to join, and we will have snacks and games for them also. So we look forward to seeing them there.
It's wonderful. Lots going on in the district, that's for
Absolutely.
sure. So much to be proud of academically and in the sports arena, athletically. I mean, what
Yes,
can we say?
Yes, we had a visit today from the executive director of the Suffolk, Nassau, and Suffolk and Nassau School Board. And he visited the high school, and he was so impressed that the only word that he could say was, wow. He could not believe all the great things that we're offering here for our students. And when he was walking in, he said, I think that Brentwood is the hidden treasure. And I said, soon it's not going to be the hidden treasure. He has a newsletter. Dr. Leon is going to write an article, and you will see that on the next newsletter from the association. And we're very proud of all the great things that are happening here. This week we met with a group of students. It's called TALAC, Take a Look at Teaching. And one of the things that they were talking to us was about the courses, the electives that they're taking right now, the opportunities that we're giving them to take college credits, to be certified. We had even one student getting the certification in phlebotomy. And those are great things that the community and this world is doing for our students. And thank you again. And Dr. Doolin and James Kessler, I know that you're around here also. Thank you for all the great things that are happening at the high school.
Yes.
And the cabinet, of course. And the administration. And everybody.
Okay, so we're now going to move forward with our public comment. Mr. Bill Moss.
You didn't have anything?
You guys ran out of sheets on the table.
Okay, we apologize. But- Yeah, that's okay. I'll pull you up, Andy. No worries about that. You're welcome.
Okay.
Hold on, don't start just yet. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so my first question is about the agenda publication. At the last meeting, I did mention to all of you that the publication of the board agenda the day before, not even the day before, the evening before this meeting is inappropriate for this community. We are a working community. The parents of the 18,000 plus 500 students that you have are helping their young people with homework and everything else when you're publishing the agenda. Then they go to sleep. Then they wake up. They put their kids on the bus. They go to work. And then you have a 6 o'clock meeting, and we're here at 8 o'clock to ask you questions. When do you think we have time to go through an 18-page agenda to be able to ask you questions with transparency?
I'll pause your time to answer you. Superintendent and I spoke about this today, as a matter of fact. We've discussed it. We're thinking about ways to circumvent. Part of the problem is, well, it's not so much of a problem, is that we wanted just to give a right agenda. And we understand that, that time constraints for parents who do work, it may be problematic. So we're going to work on a resolution as a board to come up with a way to better service the community as far as putting up the agenda items in a timely manner and work on the amendments as they come along. So in an effort for us not to have to amend after a course of over a week, and just give one full agenda, that's what we're, so that no one thinks anything nefarious is happening. So, trying to do the right thing sometimes gives the appearance that it's the wrong thing perspective. So we're going to continuously work on a way to get that information out in a better manner and in a more timely basis. What that looks like, we'll talk about maybe in the next meeting or so. We'll have a better grasp of what that looks like going forward.
Sure, and as you know, and as I mentioned at the last meeting, previous boards of education have published the agenda the week before, Thursday or Friday, giving the community the weekend to see the agenda. And of course, as I've mentioned to many of you, if need be, an addendum comes out of the agenda the day before, the day of as needed, and then you've respected the community.
Yeah, well, that's our plan. Thank you.
I did also want to make sure that all of you are aware that we had a constitutional amendment in our state that now has equal protection for all ethnicities throughout the state. That means that the government cannot select any ethnicity to be its logo, mascot, or team name anywhere in New York State. I beseech you to reverse the illegal decision that you made in November, about the Spartans, which is a Greek ethnicity to anybody who has intelligence, to be the logo of this community.
You have 1 minute left, Mr. Moss.
You cannot choose any race, color, protected class, protected status at all to be the logo of a governmental institution. You should know that by now. 1964 was a long time ago. Ethnicity was just added here in New York State just to make it clear. It should not be happening. The last thing is the written forms for comment. You only had a couple of written forms in the back. I think the fact that we are still even doing written forms is atrocious. Mr. Hassan Ahmed, you ran. I was there when you ran, stating that you were going to get rid of this. That was 3 years ago. You can lie to the public now and say that you didn't, but you did. I was there when you said it.
Thank you, Mr. Moss. Your
And so
your 3 minutes has
the fact that we're
expired.
still doing it and you're not even putting out the comment papers enough for a community of 90,000
Mr.
people
Moss.
is ridiculous.
Thank you, Mr. Moss. We will take your suggestions under advisement. We appreciate your time and your commentary. Ms. Kim Johnson? Do you have an updated one? Okay, can you pass it to security? Can you approach, please? Thank you so much.
So first I have,
Hold on.
oh, okay.
Hold on. Just want to make sure I give you your, okay, so we have 3 minute rule in effect,
Okay.
and I will let you know when you get down to the 1 minute.
Okay, so first one is it's actually an agenda item, so I apologize about that. But I just wanted to know if you had any details of what that corrective action plan was for the financial statements, because you guys voted to approve them, but we need details of those financial statement, what the corrective action plan is. That should be public to us.
Stacy, I'm going to pause it so that she can answer.
Sure, I did a presentation on this over the summer. It's a finding from last year that was repeated this year. It has to do with our fund balance and how we're over the 4%, so we'll monitor that fund balance throughout the year and spend that down carefully, responsibly. And we also presented what we've been doing to spend that down.
And you have all the details of that already published?
It was the August board meeting, I believe, and it will be posted on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay. And then I had one more question about what is the normal routine for communicating any of the concerns that come to the board? I speak to a principal at East regarding a concern I had from last month, but I had addressed this a year ago, and he said he never got that information. So I don't know how accurate that is, but I just wanted to know what the process is for any concerns that are here and how are they addressed with the principals and the schools.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I just want to regurgitate what you're saying so that I'm answering it accurately. So you want to know if you're bringing a concern to the Board of Education in the public forum or via email or any avenue?
Any avenue.
So, per se, if you're bringing a concern to the Board of Education about a employee, that will go through the superintendent of schools. She will make the necessary contact, and if necessary, she will follow up with yourself and the principal or whatever staff member it is to come to the amicable outcome.
And how quickly does that normally happen?
It happens immediately, Ms. Johnson. Like, I know the concern that you presented to me last time that we have spoken about. immediately I communicated with, he was here, the assistant superintendent for secondary education. We communicated with Mr. Escobares, and then he communicated with you.
Okay, yeah, because when I spoke about it last year, he said he never knew about it, so just
Okay.
wanted clarification.
Okay.
And then last but not least is, my name is Kim Johnson, I'm a resident of the Brentwood School District and a member of the Islip Smithtown branch of the NAACP. I'm here to read our resolution in regard to the November 2024 team name selection that was passed unanimously in December of 2024. Whereas the purpose of the mascot change was to move away from utilizing racial, ethnic, and group names, mascots, and logos in reliance on racial, color, and ethnic stereotypes of names, mascots, and logos, as well as rejection of the dehumanization, objectification, glorification of racial, ethnic, and color groups by New York public schools. Whereas no one race, ethnicity, color group, or group of a specific national origin should be used or selected to represent any municipality in the U.S., including and especially New York public schools, whereas children should not be taught to dehumanize, objectify, glorify in any words or conduct any ethnic group, racial group, color group, group of a specific national origin, or any other protected group, also co-protected class in public schools or any schools. Whereas public school children, parents, taxpayers must not be subjected to objectification and glorification of violence against indigenous people, oppression, enslavement of indigenous people, and child militarization and dehumanization. Those actions imposed because of the selection of a people group that embraced and executed these practices to officially
1 minute.
represent a public school system. Whereas the education law of 1527A prohibits symbols of hate in public schools, especially including symbols and limited to of white supremacy, neo-Nazi idolization, and the battle flag of the Confederacy. Be it further resolved that the Islip Smithtown branch of the NAACP demands that the decision to select the Spartans as the mascot for the Brentwood Union Free School District be rescinded. Be it further resolved that the Islip branch of the NAACP demands that the process of mascot selection be revisited with these concerns in mind and with a public hearing so that the community may voice concerns. Be it further resolved that the Islip Smithtown branch of the NAACP will conduct direct action against the Spartan name, team name, logo, and mascot until the selection of the same is rescinded or otherwise overturned.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions, comments from the community? Okay, Andy? Yeah, she'll be next, Andy. Do you want to address it? Yes, if you want to. Hold on, Andy. Andy, hold on, sir. Give me 1 second.
Take it down. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'll give the members of the NAACP a moment to get settled because we do appreciate your comments. Okay, thank you. So in response to the statement by the NAACP, I think it's important to start by saying that this board respects and honors the tradition of the NAACP. For those who may not know very much about the organization, the NAACP played a pivotal role in the landmark U.S. Supreme Court case of Brown versus Board of Education in 1954. As a result of that case, it was found that racial segregation in public schools was unconstitutional. And that case gave us the avenue to all be seated in this room today and to make sure that all of our students get the education that they deserve. So for that, I applaud the history of the NAACP. And not only do I applaud the history of the NAACP, but I applaud you as you continue that honored history and tradition. So thank you for the work that you do. With that being said, it has already been expressed to you through a letter from the board and from the superintendent in December, the sentiments that I just told you about the respect that we have for the organization and the fact that we want to work collaboratively with the organization. Sometimes in life, even when you want to work hand in hand with someone, there are things that you don't always see eye to eye on. This mascot issue appears to be one of those things where we don't exactly see eye to eye. And for those who don't know about the legal status that we are in right now, Mr. Moss has filed a petition with the New York State Education Department Commissioner. So the Commissioner of Education is currently reviewing this to find out whether or not this mascot is in fact improper. As part of the petition that Mr. Moss filed, he asked for a stay, which essentially means that the board in this district would have to stop all activities to change the name to Spartans. So you wouldn't be able to purchase any more equipment or purchase uniforms or anything else with Spartans on it until the commissioner decides the ultimate case. The commissioner has already reached a decision regarding that stay, and the commissioner reached a decision in favor of the school district. The commissioner reached a decision regarding the stay saying that the district is allowed to move forward with its preparations to make Spartans the new mascot. This isn't the end of the battle. There's 2 rounds in this battle. First, we have the challenge regarding the stay, and then we have the ultimate decision by the Commissioner of Education regarding all of the elements of the case. To put it bluntly, the district has won the first round. Okay, the commissioner did not find that what the board is doing thus far is so discriminatory or so racially segregated that we needed to immediately be stopped. So I want it to be clear that there is no finding against the district at this point in time that the board or the district has done anything wrong. I also want to highlight the fact that Spartans is not the choice of the board. It's not the choice of the superintendent. It's the choice of this Brentwood community. The board is honoring a decision, and excuse me, Mr. Como, I'll certainly be respectful when it's, well, you're talking.
No,
So
I
we-
was laughing.
All right.
Now,
Well, I will give
I'm
you.
sorry, but don't tell my name out that I'm doing something wrong when I have the right to sit here and laugh at that statement.
I appreciate
Please.
that, and I will give you all of the time that you deserve when it's your turn to speak. I've always done that in the past.
Absolutely.
And
but
I will
don't
continue to
say-
do that.
Don't pick out my name when you're talking about something I didn't even bring up.
Let's calm
Thank you,
down.
Mr.
Can we
Coleman.
calm down,
Andy,
please?
please.
No,
To
I'm
continue.
sorry, I'm tired of
Can,
it.
can we calm down? Thank you. I appreciate it, Andy. Thank you so
To
much.
continue, the district issued a survey. There were a number of options for different mascots, and the choice with the most votes was the Spartans. That is what the community chose. In selecting the Spartans, the board honored the decision made by the community. And the last thing that I'd like to say is that as we move forward, the commissioner will decide who was right and who was wrong. But as I've said so far, there is no decision, there is no legal determination, there is no law at all stating that the district has done anything that is unlawful or discriminatory. And I thank you, again, for what you have said and for presenting your opinions, but it's important for us to set the record straight in terms of what the commissioner has decided, not our opinions, but the decision of the commissioner of this New York State Education Department. Thank you.
Thank you, Candace. Mr. Como, the floor is yours.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the 3 minutes as well.
Don't worry about me. I'm gonna ask my questions and you can spend all the time you want.
Okay.
First question, what is our graduation rate for last year or this year or next year or the year before?
Last year was 83.6.
How much? I'm sorry.
83.6, I believe it was, close to 84% last year,
82.6.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah.
can we just,
I want.
yeah, we just want to explain something that's happening. So there was a glitch in the system.
This year, yes.
This year.
We didn't receive the graduation yet rate, but I'm constantly, yes. We didn't receive our graduation rate yet this year, but I'm always constantly checking, right? Because we want to see how the rate is. And we noticed when we were looking at the report, something called a level 0 report, and from level 0 goes to level 2. We noticed that there was a glitch. We have students that graduate during the summer, and those numbers still appear as if they never graduated. So we just reported this week. We reported to BOCES, and we're working closely with the state right now to ensure that they fix that glitch that we had. Because the kids they still appear on that report, and they should not be on that report. So we don't have the numbers yet to give you this year. We don't have that yet. We're just waiting for the state to respond to us. All the data, as you know, we have so many students graduating during the summer. The data was due October 18, was submitted October 17. It made it, but there was a glitch, and that's what they reported to us. We don't have any other information.
Yeah, so right now, it looks like it's lower than the 84% that we reported last year. And clearly, we don't foresee that it's gone down at all. We think it's either gone up a bit or maintained. So it's a concern to us that, as well as to the community, that we're reporting the accurate graduation rate. So we are cognizant that it may appear low, but as Superintendent Ortiz mentioned, she is working actively with BOCES and the state to rectify.
Okay, I hope my clock would stop, because my
It
question
hasn't even moved,
only
Andy.
lasted 7
It hasn't
seconds.
even moved, Andy. When
Okay.
we speak, I stop it.
All right. Second, what is happening with the purchase of the building on Brentwood Road?
We purchased the building. We met with the architect already. We're actually going to meet with him again. I believe it's in February. We just set it today to just discuss some of the options that we have. And that is also going to be, we're going to have a hearing with the community to get your input as well. We haven't selected that date yet.
Okay? I've talked to the superintendent. There's going to be a protest on Monday, if you're not aware of it. All right? Nobody gives anybody any information. The town did not know about it. There is no permit needed. There are buses being ordered to bring people into the Brentwood community. The fire department just found out about it today. The police department knew about it before Christmas, all right? And Lieutenant Mike something, I can't remember his name, all right? I put a call into him to get what their plan is on how they're going to handle this. He's never gotten back to me. Sammy Gonzalez, one of his people have been talking to me, but they have no clue. All right?
Do you know what it's in reference to, the protest? Do you know?
President Trump being inaugurated. Good word.
Thank you.
All right?
Okay.
We don't know how many are going to show up. We don't know anything.
Do we have a location? Is there a?
Brentwood train station.
Okay.
And the town doesn't need to give them a permit because it's a protest. But yet the Brentwood Parade Committee, we got to pay hundreds of dollars, maybe even a couple of thousands of dollars to put on the parade, all right? And have an emergency plan for the fire department, the ambulance and everything. And they don't need anything. I told the superintendent about this. I gave her a warning. Please get it out to any students. Try to stay away from the area.
You have
Because
a
you
minute
don't
left,
know
Andy.
what's going to happen.
You have a minute left, Andy.
I'm sorry?
You have a minute left.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't talk for 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
You did actually.
All right? St. Joseph's Academy. All right? There was supposed to be another meeting set up with the town planning department, and they haven't set it up yet. All right? The third thing, or the fourth, I don't know what number this is. All right? Billy brought up an agenda item, which I just wrote down. You said that you guys were going to discuss it. Is that discussion going to be in public?
Yes, we'll have
Okay.
discussion.
My last thing, and this is on a sad note, over the last 2 months or so, Brentwood has lost 3 people. All right? One was Bobby Tagner. Bobby Tagner was a phys ed teacher, my phys ed teacher in elementary school. All right? He passed away, and a great loss to this community and the kids that he helped. All right? Myself being one of them. Talking to me when I got older to join the Marine Corps. All right? The second person was Steve Howland. And I don't know if any of you knew him either. All right? Brentwood, if you're not aware, was the first school district that someone brought a gun in that it was nationwide. The gentleman came into the East Middle School, at the time it was a junior high school. Steve Howland was the principal. Steve Howland got shot through the door, grazed his face. All right? He was also a teacher, a phys ed teacher at North Middle. And helped a lot of kids. And the third person is being waived this evening, and that's Lou Brousseau. And Lou Brousseau well, he didn't graduate from Brentwood because they didn't have a high school when he graduated. But we used to have a picture in the hallway of kids sitting at a long table when this was the elementary school, I guess. He was in that picture. All right? He then went, I think it was to Farmingdale, because they used to take the train to Farmingdale. And he just passed away. He was a scout leader for maybe 30, 40 years. He just passed away. So I just wanted the district to know we lost 3 good former Brentwood Indians. Okay?
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
And that's
Time
it.
is up.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we extend our heartfelt condolences to all those affected by these losses. Loss is never easy, and we appreciate their contributions to our school community. I was extending my condolences to those who have been affected by the recent losses and thanking those who have served our community and impacted our students and community. Thank you. Any other questions from the community? Okay, hi. If you could just state your name, where you're from.
Sure. I'm Linda Spar. I'm a member of the NAACP, Islip Smithtown branch, the name finally is.
Are you a member of the Brentwood community?
I graduated from Brentwood in 1972.
Thank you.
And actually, at the time, we didn't know. Yes, it was great. And it was the last year that it was one high school before it split actually into the Sonderling and Ross. My question is really about the process with the Commissioner of Education. You indicated, Counselor, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but you indicated that the Commissioner denied the application that was presented by President Moss and issued a decision denying a stay. Can you just explain when and how that happened?
Sure. So there was a request in the petition filed by Mr. Moss that would have imposed a stay on the district, meaning that you basically freeze. You have to stop what you're doing right away. It's what we call injunctive relief, where the court is saying, we haven't fleshed out all of the issues yet. We haven't reached an ultimate determination, but in the meantime, we think that there's enough basis here to be worried about that we need you to stop while we take a look at all the facts and reach an ultimate decision.
Okay.
That's
Thank
what
you.
a stay would have done.
I'm
The
an
stay was
attorney,
denied.
So
Yes.
I know,
Sure.
I'm not being condescending, I know what a stay is.
Sure.
But when did the Commissioner reach that determination, and how was it disseminated?
That decision was reached just a couple of days ago. I think the written decision came out, and it was a letter from the Office of Counsel from the New York State Education
Okay.
Department.
And who was that sent to?
It was sent to Mr. Moss,
Okay.
and it was sent to me as the attorney for the district.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if you're aware, but last weekend at the quarterly meeting for the state NAACP, New York State NAACP endorsed and accepted the resolution that we had passed at the local level. And that resolution is going to be presented by Ms. Hazel, Dr. Dukes, who's the state chair of the NAACP. That's going to be presented to the Commissioner of Education, so that could have some impact. So I guess my follow-up question would be, okay, there's no stay, but what if it turns out that we're right? And I believe we're right, but if it turns out we're right, is the board really going to be continuing to order new sports equipment and signs and stickers and stuff with this new logo? What are you going to do about the money? What are the plans for that?
Sure. Well, I can tell you that we believe that the district is right. People always believe that they're right in litigation, right?
But it's
Ultimately,
big bucks. So-
exactly. Ultimately, the commissioner will be the one to say who's right and wrong.
Right.
the district is in a difficult position because frankly, this board didn't on its own say, let's just go ahead and change the logo and mascot. It did it based on a requirement from New York State saying that it must be changed by the end of this school year. We all know getting things shipped, getting things made takes time, especially when you're dealing with the largest suburban school district in New York State. If we were to wait for the commissioner's decision, which could take more than 6 months, there is no way that the district would be prepared to move into the next school year with all of the equipment and items that it needs. So it is imperative that the district be able to take measures now to make sure that it's complying with the requirements of changing the logo by this end of the school year and making sure that our students have what they need to participate in games, to perform at band competitions, to do all of the things that students should be doing in high school with the appropriate attire, with a scoreboard, with all of the things that come along with being a student in the district. So it really would be impossible for the district to shut everything down at this point and still have the district be prepared for the upcoming school year.
Have all of those materials been ordered already with the Spartans' name on them?
I cannot speak to that, and I know that the district is still making decisions. There are still preparations that need to be made. So I don't at all want to speak to what has been bought and what has not been bought. What I can speak to from a legal perspective is that there is nothing preventing the district from doing anything at this point regarding the logo and mascot.
And I'm sorry, I'm just asking from a practical standpoint about the money. You know, it seems like a lot of money would be spent and could be lost if it turns out that you're wrong. So I guess that then the follow-up issue would be if there's some questions, and honestly, I'm late to the game on this, but if there is some question about what the process was in choosing this new logo, then why not use a process that would really engage the community more? I'm just saying that as a practical matter, but I guess I address that to the board.
Respectfully, I will say that this has been all about community input. This wasn't a decision made by the board in executive session where we had 7 board members come around a table and say, which mascot do you like? Okay, this one is the one we like best. Let's roll this out as our choice. That is not at all what happened. It was a deliberate process. The community was involved every step of the way, and the community voted for the Spartans. So frankly, and I say this respectfully, I don't know how much more the community could have been involved than that because it was completely a decision based on community input.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I don't, because you were talking about voting, and I don't know. I have a mixed understanding about what that process was. I've heard it described as a survey, and then you're saying it was a vote. So I guess it's just a question of clarity, because it would, I'd have a better understanding of how, or at least a better opinion. Obviously, it's just an opinion about whether or not the board would win or lose in the challenge, you know, if it really was community involvement or, you know, who voted, I guess, is the question.
Sure. I won't rehash all of the details because we've discussed this many times during executive session, but I'm sure if you speak with Mr. Moss, he can fully explain to you the survey process that was used by the community.
I don't think he was in executive session.
He was not, and this decision, this decision was not made in executive session, which is the point that I'm making. This
I'm
survey
sorry,
went
I'm
out to the
sorry.
community.
I thought you said you discussed it a lot in executive session.
No, we've talked about it a lot in
Okay.
public board meetings.
Okay, I apologize. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Can I just ask a follow-up question to what she was saying?
Sure.
Is the district selling any paraphernalia to the students with Spartans on it?
No, not at this time. No, we are not. The district is not.
Because at the Christmas tree lighting, there were a couple of kids with jackets that said Spartans.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just-
So, and let me explain to you how that happened. Unbeknownst to the board, to the administrative team, some groups within the school community decided to sell as a fundraiser items with their own mascot, and as soon as we found out about it, it was nipped in the bud. So, you know, we didn't want that confusion out there, to think that the board was allowing it to happen without the community input. We hadn't even unveiled what the new mascot logo would look like, so it sends the wrong message, and they understood clearly what the expectations, the district, all the clubs, staff received several reminders at Dr. Leone's hand, what is acceptable and what is not going forward. No, thank you for asking that question. Is there any other questions for the community? Hi, Anna. Yeah, I know. Thank you for your patience, Anna. Hold on, Anna, I want to give you your 3 minutes, so I don't want to. Okay. There you go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anna Flores. I'm a Brentwood resident. And I just wanted to follow up on last meeting if there was any update on the CPI data from transportation. And I also wanted to know, on the agenda, I think you guys recognize that that should probably be published a little bit earlier so that we can sort of review,
Yes.
like, the community.
Yes.
I would also add to that the agenda is also in English, so I don't know if it could be planned so that it could also be published in Spanish. I saw that historically it's only been published in English as well. And as well, like, I guess this is sort of one of my first meetings to attend, so I didn't know that the agenda items were not going to be sort of further discussed in more detail. I know that it was voted on, but, I didn't know or have much information on the agenda items themselves as well. That's just a comment.
Thank you so much. Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. The CPI data, I don't think there was enough time between the last meeting and this meeting to develop something, but I will hand over to our superintendent.
That's correct. I got some input from some people throughout the district who either watched the meeting or I reached out to myself to see what their input was, and it was all positive, but it's nothing quantitative, which I think you're looking for, that I could present at this time.
Is there any sort of resolution to quantify that a little bit more so that we can know how we're effectively spending the money within the budget, or just overall?
Well, we're going to look at what we started to do, and we're pulling them all, looking at the incident reports that were collected, from bus incidents. And we could look at the number that we have, but it's also the severity of them. So that's kind of what we're trying to look through, because we may have the same number of incidents, but just not the same severity. So we're trying to go through that and see if we could figure out a way to make sense of that data and put it all together for you. But overall, we've heard from principals, the bus monitors themselves were extremely grateful to get that training from our own staff. So it was during staff time. So bus monitors had to get paid, but the instructors were our own staff. So it wasn't a great cost to the district, and I think the benefits were just tremendous for the students.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you don't use like a third-party person to gather that data?
No, we're going to do that ourselves.
Okay. Just to note that it could be a little bit biased if your own sort of boss is asking, right, like, hey, did you like this? Did you appreciate this? Like, it's more likely for the person to say, yes, I did really enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, I want to note that I didn't get any sort of reminders about this meeting. I know that I signed up last time through a portal, and I didn't really get any information about the meeting as well.
Which portal did you sign up? Was it for the alumni portal?
No, she signed up on the website to get announcements.
All right.
Yeah. So,
It is on the website.
so we don't
It's on the
send a
website.
reminder, I don't think, but it's published on the website that we have the meeting.
Yeah,
we have
there's several
of them.
avenues where it is posted, the meeting. It's on Instagram, it's on our Facebook page, it's on our district page, and it should be on the billboard in front of the administrative building as well. So there's several avenues where we post the meeting.
Yeah, I see that there's more turnout this time around. I don't know if there was something done differently, but if there was, I
No,
think it should
it's-
be continued.
It's the same.
Okay.
Anna, did you receive my newsletter on Friday, last Friday?
No, I haven't received
may not-
anything, and I make sure to check emails
Yeah.
and everything too.
So I'm not
Okay,
sure.
so we
I
have
need
to
to
check,
check with
okay.
Candace, she's
Yeah.
not here today.
And I guess one last thing is on the mascot issue. Was the survey results published to the public?
Yeah, there we
Yes, yes, they were.
Is that like on a agenda or?
It's on one of the newsletter, you will see, I'll send them to you. I will
Okay.
send them to you.
Okay,
I
thank you
have
so
them
much.
here, so I
Alright.
can give them to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Any other questions in the audience?
I
Your
like
name?
that she was just a small because
Your
the
name and where
the
you're
microphone
from?
works. Hi.
Hi. Your
Good
name and where
evening.
you're
My
from?
name is Kendra. Kendra Cornejo Munoz. I am a Brentwood alum, class of 2011, lifelong Brentwood resident. I know it's been a long night, so I appreciate you all listening. I appreciate you all still being here. I hope I'm not the last speaker because the topic that I came here and I'm concerned about is a little more serious. So the person taking office on Monday has stated very publicly that there are plans to rescind the sensitive policy locations in regards to non-local enforcement and their access to certain areas, namely ICE. I know that in many districts where there are immigrant students, there has been, guidance and protocols. I guess my question to the board is, what are the protocols that we have here in the district to protect our immigrant students if ICE were to enter the building? And, with those protocols, what is then that access to information, or what is that guidance that you all give to administrators and principals if that were to occur post-Monday?
That's a good question, and thank you for answering. I don't know that I can give you all of the details right now, but I do want to share something because it is kind of hot off the press. Just a few hours ago, there was a statement issued by the Office of the New York State Attorney General in conjunction with the Office of the New York Governor and the New York State Education Department. And the title of it is New York State Guidance on Safeguarding the Rights of Immigrant Students. So it's clear that at a state level, from all of the highest offices in this state, it is one of their priorities to make sure that immigrant students are safeguarded. And of course, we have a high population of immigrant students here in Brentwood. And I'll, of course, let the superintendent speak to more specifics. But
you.
we will continue to make sure that if students are a resident of the district, they receive an education, because it's not our job to be the immigration police. If you live in Brentwood, you're entitled to an education if you're a resident. And I'm sure that many protocols will be put in place that maybe the superintendent can speak to more
Thank you.
specifically.
So hi, Kendra. Yeah, we just received the information. The cabinet already has it. We are going to meet and discuss this and then come back to the board and reflect on how can we better support our immigrant families. And I do know that the residents of Brentwood, many of them are afraid. Yesterday, I went to a local business and they expressed that concern. You have to rest assured that we are going to do whatever it takes to ensure that our students are safe, okay, and that they have what they need while they're here in school. This board is committed to that. Our focus are our students and the cabinet and our administrators too. We have a family community center that is funded through an immigrant grant also, and we are also going to get some guidance from them as well. Okay, yesterday we had an informational night for immigrant parents. A lawyer came to speak to our families. So as I mentioned, we are providing guidance, and I believe that you actually sent an email, right, to some of our guidance counselors also to speak to some of our students. So we are definitely going to ensure that our students are safe here.
I deeply, deeply appreciate that, and hear that I was in New York City. There was an immigration hearing in New York City at City Hall today, where there were young people testifying about what they would like to see in their schools, right? And there's some good ideas, right? Like having a sign in front of all school entrances saying, right, that ICE is not welcome in the school. Just having, just public clarity to make students feel safe to walk into school, right, and not feel afraid to finish out their school year just because of the fear in the political climate. So I look forward to hearing more about the protocols that the district will enact and how they will, share it with the rest of the school administrators and principals so all of our Brentwood students are safe the rest of this
Unfortunately,
next
this
couple
is not
years.
the first time that our community has been afraid of ICE infiltrating our district. And I can recall maybe back to 2017, 2018, we were having this conversation.
Yeah.
And we reassured our community and our parents and our students that our buildings are the safest place you can be. It's the safest place your children can be. We're not going to allow them to come in and take our students. So rest assured that your children will be safe here in our buildings.
Thank
as
you. Thank you.
Any other, okay.
Again, my name is Bill Moss, and I just wanted to reiterate that it is completely illegal to choose any race or ethnicity. To even suggest otherwise is outrageous. I met with the superintendent and you, Madam President, in August, and urged both of you to consider doing a runoff vote in the community to establish a real majority of opinion about the mascot. I understand the sentiment of wanting to support the survey results. The survey results were not conclusive. I was a math teacher in this district. When I was a math teacher, I taught our students about election mathematics. You're talking to your local expert. What you did in deciding off of a 22% that was a mandate was an error. Instead of looking at 22% as being a mandate, it should have went to a runoff between the top two choices. That's if you really don't know that Spartans is an ethnicity, represents a race as well as a national origin, then you should have had a top two runoff. A vote, not a survey, a vote in this community so the voters could say exactly what the sentiment of the community actually is. Not people who live outside the community, because that's what the survey took. The vote needed to be here in this community.
Have 1 minute, Mr. Moss.
And that would have been a true sentiment of the community, not a survey. A survey is just an opinion, and this particular survey went out to, it could have went out to somebody from Sparti, Greece, for example. Well, students, they gave their opinions too. But at the end of the day, the people who make decisions legally in a community are the voters. And no one voted on the Spartans. Let's be clear about our verbiage. No one did. But that's what should have happened. And on the issue of the stay, 99.9% of the stay requests at the commissioner's level are not granted. You and I both know that. So that is no great win for your side. In fact, the stay happened before you even issued your
Thank you, Mr. Moss.
results.
Thank you so very much. Any other? I'm trying to get there.
This whole issue is about ethnicity. You had the Indians, the indigenous, now you have the Spartans, It's still an ethnicity. This is what the whole issue is about. And that's what the government is saying. That's what everybody's saying. We need to get away from the ethnicity. That's what this is all about. So you cannot go and say Spartans and say Indians. It's the same thing. And like Mr. Moss is saying, the community didn't vote for it. You had your top two. You sent out a survey. You had your top two. So you do a vote. Let the community actually vote on this. This survey, you don't know who took this survey. People from any other district could have taken this survey. Do you have a list of the names? Do you know who took this survey? So I'm just asking for you to go back and look at this with a clear conscience. We cannot go from Spartans, from Indians to Spartans. You're not changing hands. You're doing the same thing. So I'm just asking you to go back and look at this whole thing clearly, assess it. I know you got to stay, and I know we know, and I know the kids, they need their uniforms and whatever they need. But before you throw your hands up and says, we have a stay, we're not going to do anything, or we're going to just go ahead and purchase stuff. And if that happens, that the commissioner comes down again and says, you lost, then you have
1 minute, Mrs. Moore.
you have incurred other expenses, because now you have to go and repurchase the whole thing. I'm just asking you guys to look at this thing very clearly with an open eye. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments from the audience? Okay, we have 2 questions from someone at home. I'd like to give them their time. Since COVID, there has been a lack of engagement with the community and the actions the school board has been taking without putting a full effort to get a consensus from the community on decisions that affects their children. What's your plan to rectify? Well, I would have to say I disagree with this statement. As board president, I think we have done a tremendous job in engaging our community. We have a plethora of avenues where we engage. We started our alumni portal. We have our parent square, which building principals and staff send out a plethora of information, letting the community and parents know what is happening in their district. We have our beautiful billboards outside of our buildings, weekly newsletters, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, the athletics page. I mean, you name it, we're doing it. I mean, we have a rolling reel here with information, a plethora of information, while everyone's waiting at home. It's live on the feed, on our social media avenues. I mean,
And anyone who has any questions, they know that they can call me and I will return your phone call.
yeah, I mean, we have plenty of individuals that reach out to the Board of Education members, community. We have relationships with community organizations, with our local politicians. So there is always an engagement, an event, and the community is well aware of how to reach us and how to engage us, as well as participate in all things Brentwood.
The schools have sit teams, PTAs, community plazas at the school level. There's also many opportunities for engagement. So we ask that parents, if you are not aware of these, that you contact your schools for individual information regarding those activities.
Yes, and they're also added, most of our schools have their own individual calendars.
Yeah, Parent Square, yes.
And they're provided information there, and it's connected to Parent Square as well.
Absolutely, yes.
Any?
Did you say we have 15 PTAs?
Most schools have, I don't know exactly if every school has at this point. I know for a while PTAs had taken a downfall in terms of numbers, but we are rebuilding all of our PTAs. So yes, Andy, we're actively engaging in revitalizing our
And
PTAs.
SEPTA has
And we have a
had
special
an
ed PTA.
overhaul. And Cherie Sibley is actually doing a tremendous job with SEPTA. So there's many forums for engagement and ways that the district is engaging our community and parents. Okay, and the second question is, I think we have already answered this regarding what is your plan to increase the rate of graduation, since reports have shown that the Brentwood High School graduation rate has decreased considerably. As of last year, our graduation rate rose 11%. From my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Superintendent?
76 to 84%, yes.
And again, we understand that there was a glitch in the system, and if they're reporting a number, and we're unaware that there's a number out there for last school year, but right now, our graduation rate has increased. We're at 84%. It is our hope that we continue to increase that rate. Any other questions from the audience? Well, if not, okay. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:22 PM.
Motion.
Motion by Julia Burgos. I need a second.
Second.
Second by
It's a race.
Maria Malave. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Who was the